The number of bodies recovered for a people killed off a boat sank off the eastern coast of Venezuela has risen to 18. United States panel of experts votes to recommend emergency approval of Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine. India's Supreme Court declined calls to ban a weeks-long farmers' protest and requested government to dialogue with the demonstrators. From the headquarters of TeleSUR English in Havana, Cuba, this is From the South. I'm Gladys Quesada. In Venezuela, the number of bodies recovered of people killed when a boat sank off the eastern coast of the country has reached 28. According to the Attorney General's office, 26 bodies have been identified and returned to their families. The Interior Ministry reported that 11 bodies had been recovered in the past 24 hours. The ministry also said that 40 people were thought to be aboard the boat, which was headed to Trinidad and Tobago. Attorney General Tarek William Saab said that 2 individuals have been arrested for the crime of human trafficking, while relatives of the victims had requested that all groups refrain from politicizing the incident.
Unfortunately, I would like to report that the number has now reached 28 in total, of which 26 are already identified and 2 are yet to be identified.
And the Venezuelan Attorney General Tarek William Saab reported that 2 of the people responsible for the sinking of the boat, in which at least 28 people died, were arrested.
We already have 2 detainees to be handed over right now to the authorities and charged based on the law. I also want to emphasize that these 2 citizens, both of them, and this is very revealing, both have criminal records and convictions for drug trafficking. They are people who have unfortunately reoffended. They also have a record of trafficking in illegal arms and aggravated theft.
The Attorney General also informed that his office has ordered the arrest of at least 7 officials of the National Guard who were reported for alleged extortion of the people who were traveling in the boat.
So they literally extorted them. They told them that in order not to report this matter to the prosecutor's office, they had to pay $4,500. They had $3,000 in cash. They gave that amount, and the remaining $1,500 were collected through the seizure of one of the boat's engines. In this way, and after conducting the necessary investigations, after certifying that these people, upon being detained, subsequently reported this incident to the local military prosecutor's office, we have requested arrest warrants against 7 officials of the Coastal Surveillance Station of Huidia.
The Venezuelan Attorney General also highlighted the manipulation of information regarding the shipwreck of the eastern coast of the country.
The difficulties caused by the coercive measures imposed on our country that have also led many people in the area to migrate to Trinidad, if we add the avalanche of propaganda through social networks and media that incite, even fool many of our young people and the most vulnerable families to this kind of exodus, this is yet another details that negatively impacts.
In Bolivia, data provided by the General Prosecutor of the nation, Juan Lanchipa Ponce, revealed that a total of 110 femicides and 51 infanticides have been registered in the country so far this year.
110 victims of feminicide and 51 victims of infanticide are the official figures the Public Prosecutor's Office has to provide to society. These are worrying figures at this time of the year. We understand that end-of-the-year holiday times and other events are coming that may lead to an increase in cases. We hope it's not the case.
And Cubans flocked this Thursday to bid a final farewell to Havana City historian Eusebio Leal, who died at the age of 77 in July, but whose funeral service was delayed due to coronavirus restrictions. Eusebio Leal was known for his extensive work to rescue and restore Havana's old town. Under his oversight, the historic center of the Cuban capital became an UNESCO World Heritage Site. He also authored numerous books and hosted radio and television programs on the city and its history. Leal received numerous national and international recognitions for his work. The tribute to the beloved figure was held at the Hall of the Lost Steps at the National Capitol building, one of the many works he helped to restore. The burial of his remains will take place on Friday in a private ceremony at the convent of San Francisco de Asís, following the wish of his loved ones.
Working passionate man in love with his work, which is very important, completely dedicated to restoring and making his city beautiful. That's what Cuba has lost. He will be remembered as a father much loved by the people.
And we'll be right back after this very short break, so don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. A United States panel of experts votes to recommend emergency approval of Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine, paving the way for 6 million doses to start shipping as soon as with the weekend. The Food and Drug Administration is now expected to imminently grant an emergency use authorization, which will make Moderna's vaccine the second to be approved in a Western country. Currently, according to the Johns Hopkins University, there are more than 17 million COVID-19 cases and over 310,000 fatalities. The U.S. continues to be the country with more active cases and with the highest death toll around the world. And the first doses of the COVID-19 are arriving at Native American communities that have been disproportionately sickened by the pandemic. The communities around the U.S. have been hit hard, despite curfews, roadblocks, and the suspension of businesses, including casinos and artisanal trading posts. The Illumination, a tribe of 5,000 members living in an oceanside Washington state peninsula, began vaccinating Thursday with 300 doses as it fights surging cases with a shelter-in-place order.
This week, we received our first round of doses from the Indian Health Service. It was a total of 975 doses, and we, of those, we get the Lumbee Tribal Health System gets 300. The rest are being distributed to a variety of tribes in as far away as Oregon and here in Washington.
First of all, I'd like to thank our health team for the dedication and hard work and many hours that they have put in. If they don't clock out at 4:30, they're always here around the clock. They're always available around the clock. Thank them for their dedication and their belief in humankind, mankind. No matter who we are, no matter what color we are, no matter what we believe in, I thank you guys very much for what you do. And it's an honor for me to be the first one from Lumbee Nation to do this. Not for myself, for the next generation and the ones after that.
Added another 683 fatalities to its confirmed coronavirus death toll this Thursday, as the government opened temporary hiring for 15,000 medical personnel to administer COVID-19 vaccines once they are approved. The Health Ministry opened a special portal for doctors and nurses, including those already retired, to apply for 9-month contracts to work in the 1,500 hospitals and clinics where the vaccine will be distributed. Officials hope to begin administering the shots before the end of the year, assuming the European Medicines Agency grants approval. Italy, where Europe's coronavirus pandemic erupted in February, has the continent's highest official death toll at over 67,000. The Health Ministry reported more than 18,000 new cases on Thursday, a rise in line with recent days.
Molto piacere che vi dico
We
che
told
da
them to give us
18
a hand
ore,
to
cioè da
reinforce
ieri
the local
mattina,
regional health
è
system,
stata aperta
which are
la
very
possibilità
fatigued
di
and which have
ricevere
been doing an
le
extraordinary
candidature del
job
personale
in the past
medico e
almost 10
infermieristico
months.
a cui noi
You
abbiamo
might
chiesto
remember we
quella
asked up
sorta
to 3,000
chiamata alle
doctors
armi
and
nei giorni
12,000 nurses.
scorsi, gli abbiamo
Since we want
detto
to build
dateci
the
una
best
mano,
possible
ci
teams.
serve
Well,
rafforzare
in 18
i
hours we
sistemi
received
sanitari
11,282
regionali che sono molto
candidacies, of
affaticati e
which
che hanno fatto un lavoro straordinario
6,381
ormai
are
da
doctors,
quasi 10 mesi.
1,387
Abbiamo,
are
vi
nurses,
ricordate, chiesto fino a
224 are
3.000
health
medici e a
assistants,
12.000
and
infermieri. Ci
3,300
siamo riservati la
are among
possibilità di
doctors,
comporre al
nurses, and
meglio
health
i
assistants
team
who are completing the
che
forms we
ci
need with their
verranno
CVs.
proposti. Bene, in 18 ore abbiamo ricevuto 11.280.
And we have more stories coming up after this final short break, so stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. India's Supreme Court on Friday declined calls to ban a weeks-long farmers' protest and asked the government and unions to help form a committee of experts to mediate between them. Thousands of farmers, angered by 3 agricultural laws that they saw threatened their livelihoods, have intensified their protests by blocking highways and camping out at the outskirts of the capital, New Delhi. Petitioners had approached the Supreme Court to complain that the protesters had hampered drivers and making it difficult for people to access emergency medical services. India's vast agriculture sector, which makes up nearly 50% of the country's 2.9 trillion economy, employs about half of its 1.3 billion people. More than 300 kidnapped Nigerian schoolboys have been released and handed to the government. A spokesperson for the governor of Katsina State, where the boys were abducted, said the 344 freed were in a good condition and will soon be reunited with their families. The spokesperson also said that none of the kidnapped group were killed. However, it was unclear whether all the boys are now accounted for. The attack was claimed by Boko Haram, which the third day released a video apparently showing some of the boys. Boko Haram has been notorious over the last decade for school kidnappings, including the Chibok in 2014, where nearly 300 schoolgirls were seized. However, these abductions have until now taken place in the northeast, where Boko Haram is based.
At the moment, 344 of the students have been handed over to security agency. I think we have recovered most of the boys, not all of them. So we are making arrangement to transport them to Kadishnite. I think the security agency, they have done very well. Earlier in the operation, where the children were being kept was discovered, and the whole area was secured and cordoned off by security agencies with the instruction that they should notify a single shop, because we have already established indirect contact to try to make sure that we secure the release of the children unharmed.
A few civilians were at a military tribunal on Yaoundé on Thursday to witness the trial of 3 soldiers accused in the February 14 Ngarbour massacre of women and children. Lawyers for the victims speak up after the start of the trial of 3 Cameroonian soldiers prosecuted for the murders of 13 civilians, including 10 children, during an operation in the village of English-speaking northwest of Cameroon. Authorities described the Ngarbour killings as one of the worst incidents of abuse of security forces in the history of Cameroon's separatist crisis. The Central African state later acknowledged troops were responsible.
We feel that the investigation was a little quick, and that is why you probably heard me ask for a possible further investigation, because it is obvious that there were people, as you have heard, and watchdog committees who have not appeared before the bar to respond to the fact that could possibly be brought before them.
And the Zambian president, Edgar Lungu, on Thursday said the country will take a major stake in selected mines, as he unveiled an economic recovery plan for the debt-burdened country. The president noted that the move did not mean a nationalization of the mines, but the state will acquire a majority stake while allowing private investors to also participate in the sector. He also criticized mining investors who cry foul whenever Zambia seeks to increase its share of its natural wealth through new tax measures. The government is locked in a protracted dispute with Vedanta Resources as Mumbai-based conglomerate over a subsidiary Konkola Copper Mines, which is jointly owned with Zambia state mining arm. The government last year placed KCM into liquidation, a move that was contested by Vedanta, the majority stakeholder, and led to legal proceedings. The president also said that the 2020 through 2023 recovery program is aimed at helping the economy after the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, noting it seeks to restore macroeconomic stability, attain fiscal and debt sustainability, and safeguard social protection. The program was unveiled as Zambia is in talks with the International Monetary Fund over a request for funding to carry out reforms.
They're lacking some of the drugs, of course, like those that used to come from China and the likes who don't have some of those commodities. But basically it's the high cost of doing business with regards to how much the dollar has gone up. Medicines have become so expensive.
When you go to order goods and the following day the prices increase, business is bad. When we come for work, we have no customers and not even food to eat from the morning. Those who use transport are affected, and we also need to pay rent for the shops.
This debt is there to stay with us. It will be here. It has just to take God. Unless the countries outside there think of forgiving us, like they did some time back, debt cancellation, maybe that could work. But not that the countries in Africa will be in a position to pay this debt with such a situation that we are in. I don't see it happening in the near future.
And we have come to the end of this news brief. But remember, you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. And also, if you feel so inclined, please follow us in social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Telegram. For TeleSUR English, I'm Gladys Quesada. Thank you for watching.